Hello, friends. Hello, friends. A tradition unlike any other.
Oh, my goodness. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
There it is! Adam Scott, a life changer. Mashed potato!
Here it comes.
Our friends at Cobra Golf, leaders in golf club innovation and design, have introduced their lightest ever hybrids and irons with the new Air X franchise. It's all in the name. The new Air X men's and women's irons and combo sets continue to deliver a lighter overall club weight to improve feel and maximize club head speed and distance for players with moderate swing speeds, i.e. not too many muscles. Taking lightweight technology and super game improvement performance to a whole new level, the Air X irons and hybrids are available now. So for more information on the Air X range, you can visit cobragolf.com.au or drop into your nearest golf shop. This is the...
Yeah.
We are now, and you know what? We're going to keep that in. We're not even going to edit that because that would be, I'd say, the best introduction to a show we've done in north of 200 episodes. I will do away with the technical and traditional introduction and go straight into our guest, Dreudster. We always enjoy Winners Mondays. This was scheduled for a Winners Monday, and our winner requested an additional 24 hours to gather himself and his thoughts post his maiden professional victory. I speak, of course, of our Queensland PGA champion for 2022, Aaron Wilkin, for the second time on the 19th tee. Wilco, welcome back, this time as a winner.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for having me.
Now we're going to start. I think from what I saw before we hit record, Drews has already cracked open his. I'm going to open a beer thanks to our great friends at Gage Roads Brewing Company, the premier craft brewery of Western Australia. Well, I was going to say it's probably not the Barossa Shiraz that I know that you prefer, being the red wine connoisseur, but I'm assuming there were a few ales had on Sunday evening. Let's walk through the important part, the celebrations first and foremost.
Yeah, I'm not gonna join you for a beer. Sorry, I'm on the straight and narrow. I didn't have 1,000 on Sunday, but I had enough.
Was it?
So you guys enjoy that, although it does look good.
It's cold and it's welcome here in what's been a very warm start to the Queensland week, as you well know, as it was over the weekend. Just on the celebrations, where was it? Was it in the clubhouse there at Nudgee? Did you get home? Did you get out to Wynnum? What was it?
No, it was there was a massive storm coming, so we sort of done a few like photos and had a few drinks with the sponsors and stuff in the tent, and then sort of it was about to bucket, and it did. So we went into the clubhouse and I had a few friends and family there. We had a few beers there, and then we had like cars and stuff there, so we had to get out half an hour away from home. So we just went back to my mum and dad's place, and a few friends and family, Caddy and his partner, and my good mate and his partner, and my coach come, and obviously was there. Like my partner's dad and sister come around, and a few others, and it was good. We just had a few cans of beer and just drunk away, and I was in bed by 12. It was good, but we had cracked a nice bowl of scotch. My old boy cracked a nice bowl of scotch, which was good, but he made a shot at it, so it tasted like shit. But that was about it.
We'll walk through the golf obviously shortly, but I'm curious to know, it's the first time, right? So how has the last 24 hours felt different for you as opposed to any other Monday after a Sunday playing golf?
Yeah, it's been obviously a little different. Like I was saying to one of my close mates on the way home in the car today, he sort of said, "How's it been?" And I said, "Oh, it's been a little bit overwhelming, but like a nice feeling. Like a lot of people generally feel happy, like seem like they're happy for me, which is a nice feeling." So I don't know. They must think I'm a good bloke. So I've tricked them. But so it wasn't too bad yesterday. I did like 3 sort of radio interviews, and that was about it. Like it wasn't too bad. And then just went to the course like normal. A few congratulations, but that was about it. Just sort of business as usual.
Has it kind of sunk in for you yet, mate? Because obviously you mentioned there you got drinks with the sponsors, you got photos, you got all your obligations that you got to do afterwards, which is, obviously new to yourself being a first time winner. When did you get, I guess is my question, when did you get that first opportunity to kind of go, fuck, I've actually won here. I've won a tournament. This is pretty cool.
Probably when I sat down at my parents' place and the trophy was right there in front, and I just was having a beer and had my friends and family there, and it was like, oh, okay, like they're here for a reason. Like it was we're here to celebrate, So probably then. At the time when it's happening, you're just sort of like going through the motions a bit. And I was obviously sort of like a little bit like I was sort of thinking about was a bit as well, because I'm like, like I want to make sure like he doesn't. See how he's going, but also like I don't want him to have to hang around, at the club if he wants to get home. So I sort of didn't want to hang around there too long. I sort of wanted to get Woz home so he could sort of just, probably, I don't know, just have a bit of time to himself to, I don't know, process what's going on, because, as much as it's a cool story, it would have been a little bit tricky for him, I reckon, like tough situation. Like he hasn't won before either, so he would have wanted to win just as much as me. And, like, friends and family here, like, sort of continually bringing up, like, how good was that, man? How good was that? And he's just like, yeah. But, like, he took it really well. Like, he celebrated, like, like he celebrated like he wasn't in the playoff. Like, he didn't lose a tournament. Like, it was like he was genuinely happy for me. So that was kind of cool.
For those who probably aren't aware, Wazza was staying with you during the week, and I imagine, I guess he kind of still is at the moment as well. So it was quite.
He's gone now. Yeah,
okay, you've kicked him out. You've said piss off. Obviously that's quite a unique story. I mean, I certainly haven't heard of it as well. I mean, can you maybe, sorry, Marshy, if you had any more celebration questions, but I'm going to the golf now. But can you maybe take us back to the first playoff hole? Obviously, you two are kind of walking there. Like, is there any conversation between you? Like, are you going, like, this is like it's surreal? Like, what?
Yeah.
How's all that processing?
I don't think I told him this as I was walking. Oh no, that's right. On the range, when we realised that old mate had made double on the last, and it was just me and Woz. I said, oh well. I said, if you beat me, you're gonna have to find a new place to stay tonight. he was like, oh yeah, good on you. And I was
but seriously.
Nah. Yeah, but seriously. He's like, yeah, good on you, mate. And then we sort of joked about it. And, like, literally because I think probably, he thought we weren't going to get in the I, like, deep down had a feeling that, last I was playing tough, like, anything can happen. Like, we're 4 under. He's, he's got to hit a good shot. And, like, if you hit in the water, it's pretty much a double.
Mm.
So I was sort of like preparing, like, okay, it's going to be a playoff. But then was on the practice range. He's like, that 18th hole, fucking, fucking, I can't believe it. Blowing up. He's just blowing. I'm just like listening, going, oh well, we're about to play it, so you better switch on, big boy.
Advantage Wilkin.
And then I messed it up in the playoff hole. We both did, I guess. It's easy to do, but yeah, and then walking down to the hole, oh yeah, like we walked past these volunteers and they're like, oh, go Justin, go Justin. I like looked at them like, what about me? And Justin. But it was lighthearted until we got to the tee, and then it was just like, yeah, he's just playing.
I'll tell you a funny story. I'll tell you a funny story about Wazza in that 18th hole. So I get there and meet up with him on the 10th tee to follow him around the back 9 on Sunday. And
just gone.
Yeah. I was a hole ahead of you. So and we'll get back to that. Because I do have an apology to lay down for you here, but I committed to.
I didn't see you.
Well, it's because I was a hole ahead of you, as I was saying. I was watching back as the momentum wave of the big spalmed armed Ranger was coming fast down the back 9. But I was talking to him, right? So we're walking. I think it would have been the 12th or 13th, and I was having a word to him. He's walking up, and he was talking about the 18th from the day previous.
Oh, I know. Saying, he told me every day.
Yeah, blowing up about the front pin placement, and you
can't.
It
was stupid.
Yeah, well, so I'm sure it was probably a sentiment felt across the board, but you know as good as anyone, he has a certain way of articulating it, and he was very upset about the front pin placement combination with the 45-kilometre winds on Saturday. Lo and behold, we walk up the hill, obviously on Sunday, and there it is again. hits it
Yeah.
up the top tier, 2 putts, and he's he's walking back to sign off his card essentially at the top of his voice.
Yeah.
Saying what you said, this fucking it's cost me the fucking tournament. Fuck, he was going off his head.
Oh, I know he wasn't happy. I was like, oh, and he's like, he's like, oh, that's a good birdie you made. Fucking hell, how'd you do that? I said I had to go for it, chump. I didn't have a choice.
So probably a good segue to ask you when you felt in the tournament, because you kind of just said then that you're standing on the range, you're 2 back, you know that it only takes a bad shot of that 18th, but I kind of mentioned it before. I kept looking a hole back when I was with Woz.
Yeah.
And, by virtue of the fact that, you are playing not your home course, but you're a homegrown boy playing in a Queensland PGA at home, you had a fair following on that back 9. And it kind of felt like it started to grow. So I wonder when it dawned on you, like, I'm in this. Like, I'm a red-hot chance.
Probably maybe 15. Like, I'd sort of made a couple of... I was playing quite aggressive. Like, I was taking driver on a few holes where I probably never would, but I just had that mentality. Like, I didn't really care if I finished 10th. I wanted to try and do my best to make birdies, even though I was playing hard. And I did that a few times throughout the day. Did it on 7, hit it straight in the piss, got up and down for 4. So, like, I sort of saved one there, and then I did it again on 13. I hit driver, and I was trying to play it the other fairway, and I caught the last tree when the hazard chipped it out up and down for 4. So I sort of saved a few, but I sort of had that mentality that, like, I was trying to win. Like, I was playing to win. I wasn't playing to finish 3rd or 4th or have a good week. And then, I made birdie on 15. It was playing a different wind to the day before, so I had to sort of lay up. As a normally par 5, normally hit driver. I laid up with 3 iron, then laid up with 4 iron, and then had a lob wedge out of the rough and hit a decent pitch to maybe 15 foot, and I hold that. That was to get to 3 under, and I was like, oh, okay, well, if you can get to 4, I think that will be something good to post, because ideally, like, getting to 5 would have been better, but, like, the holes coming in were so hard, like 16's, like, it forces you to iron off the tee, even though it's into the breeze. Then you got 180 to a pin that's pretty tucked, and then 17's a tough par 5, and then 18's just hard. So I was like, if I can get one more, and then sort of didn't mess up. Well, 16, I hit 2 great shots to 15 foot and had a pretty bad lip out, and I was like, oh, that's annoying. Kind of would have been stealing one there. And then 17, I hit driver, and I probably wouldn't hit driver on that hole, but I saw Woz was in front of me, and I saw that he hit driver, and I was like, well, if he can carry that, I'm not as long as him, but he's playing aggressive, so I better just keep the foot down. And I hit driver, and I missed it a little bit right, but it was in a decent spot. I had 3 wood in, and sort of had not an average shot, but just a shot you'd miss it if you're going to miss anywhere, short right, then ding it up and down. And I was like, oh, that's another missed chance, but, like, at least I didn't make bogey. It's still par. And then the last, I was like, well, you're going to probably have to hold. Like, I knew Woz was going pretty low, so I'm like, I know he birdied 17 because they all clapped him, and I saw where his drive and stuff was. So I knew he bogeyed the last, obviously, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to get to 4 at least. And then that made it easy. It made an easy decision on the last to go to that pin. I just sort of feathered one, under the wind and hit a good shot to where it went to. It was a tough, like, the putt was hard. Like, it was 12, 13 foot across the slope, and I couldn't mark the ball because it was just off the green. So I had a little bit of a gnomey bit of grass in front of me, which I thought might deflect it, but maybe it deflected it the right way. I don't know. So 15, to answer the question. I could have said that way. Could have said
and a shit of a hole, to be fair. I mean, the kind of the elevated green, the 15, the elevated green there.
The worst.
It's
but
not
like,
the best.
it's the, like, to get to make 4 there. It's not stealing one, but it's not many people more people are probably making bogey there than making birdie.
I wonder, you kind of touched on it in terms of the fact that you probably went after some things that you wouldn't otherwise do on Sunday. Was there, or do you think on reflection, there's something a little liberating about being, I mean, maybe your most impressive thing was going even par 3 Saturday and giving yourself a chance where a lot of guys fell away, but you were still 5 or 6 shots back at the start of the day, you had no option but to chase, and maybe that in and of itself frees you up in a sense.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I just made a few negative plays in the first few rounds and hit it in the shit by playing negative, then not committing. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna hit a shit shot or hit in the water or whatever, like let's do it on your terms. Like let's commit to hitting or being a bit more aggressive or taking more aggressive line and get yourself in a better position if you hit the shot, and let's commit to it. And if it doesn't work out, then whatever. But hitting a couple of shots I hit in the first few rounds where they're really negative plays and then not even committing, I was like, can't do that. So I just, I didn't go crazy, crazy with hitting drive everywhere. There's a lot of drivers out there, but I definitely was more aggressive coming in than what I've ever been in contention. A year ago, I would have been, just trying to par in. Do you know what I mean? I'm in a good position. It'll be a good finish. But mentality is sort of changing for the better, I think, where I'll actually believe and want to win. Not that I didn't want to win in the past, but something inside, I think that it's still actually going out and doing it. It's a weird feeling actually, because you really want to win, but actually doing it is it takes a lot to commit to hitting all those shots under the pump. And I just feel like I did that really well the last week.
Well, you've probably done it for a few weeks, mate, because you've been building. You had a great start to the season over here in WA. I mean, obviously T54 out in Cal, but then a top 10 at the WA Open, and then T26 at the Vic PGA.
Cal was shit.
Yeah, Cal was tough. Cal was tough. Tough place to go and play golf. But then T26 at the Vic PGA, which probably doesn't look like a T26 on paper. It was definitely better than what it ended up being, and then a win this week. So you've definitely been building towards this for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I had Vic PGA. I made 4 or 5 birdies more than Mardo, who won. So I was playing pretty well. I was just mentally not switching on and off at the right times. It was very slow out there, and I get bored quick. And I said it to my coach, I dead set reckon I made a lot of bogeys this week because I was just hitting shots that I wanted to see because I was fucking bored.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, he's like, what the fuck? He's like, what the fuck? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, mate, we're out there for 6 hours. It's so long.
Well,
so I definitely did a better job with that this week.
Speaking of 6 hours long, that does remind me of a story when I actually pulled the bag for you for 2 holes over here at the WA Open at Royal Frio. Yeah. And I think you're out of contention that day. And I remember a very similar sentiment. I think you'd been out there for about 4.5 hours. You were playing with a player who we won't name, who was particularly slow that day. And you had an absolute gutful, to say the least.
If you're going to play shit, just do it fast.
And I think I said to you after 2 holes, I was like, because I was walking out of the gates, and I said,
"Come save me for a couple hours."
Yeah,
please
so we did.
We
had a good chat, but no, that was fun. Speaking of entertainment, I messaged Marshy on the Sunday, and Sunday just gone.
He still hasn't told us why he didn't come see me.
Oh, well, would you like to get to that, and then I'll get back to my piece?
Then he can explain himself.
Okay, you go first.
I sent Marshy a message. We were talking about people in contention because obviously everyone's jumping around. Obviously, yourself, Marshy was out there following Wazza, and I sent a message to Marshy. Just sent a message to Marshy. Marshy just with gale force, with the little 2 eyes looking at each other. Daniel Gale, he was really charging. I tell you what, that would have been one hell of a playoff. It would have been the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit in a 3-way playoff with yourself, Wazza, and Daniel Gale. I don't know which one's the Father, Son, or the Holy Spirit, but Christ Almighty, that would have been probably one of my top moments of 2022.
Yeah. How did Gale finish?
T4.
Right.
T4.
Finished right still?
Yeah. T4.
Yeah, T4. Yeah. T4. He had a 67.
Pretty good. I played him the third day, and he was third day, and he's recovering from food poisoning in UK. He didn't look himself. I was like, you're doing well to be here.
They'd party too much.
Then you
Doesn't
start
have a
telling.
pre-tournament party, Gaily.
Here we go.
Okay, you go.
No, what did he tell you? Oh, because I
Yeah,
did
no,
have
that's what I want to
He
hear.
was, no, he was telling. No, he was just explaining in great depth of how his sickness, and I was like, oh, sweet.
I don't
fucking-
think Gaily gives anything headline or top level. It's
Yeah.
all chapter and verse, Encyclopedia Britannica,
Probably giving you
It's
food poisoning, to
phenomenal.
be honest, Wilco.
potentially. Just on Gaily, I don't know if you've seen this, Wilco. I know you're a prolific user of Twitter as a platform.
Oh yeah, you've tweeted the world ranking thing.
Have you seen this, Streets?
No.
Unbelievable. At Daniel Gale 96.
Do I have to go and do I have to read this now?
No, I'm going to read it to you
Okay.
because for the people at home who may not
Is
follow
this
Gaily on
like
Twitter,
is this lately or is this when's this?
this is a day ago. Have you seen this?
No,
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I want to know what you're talking about, but this is what he tweeted.
no,
yesterday
he just tweeted something about the world ranking points.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is it.
about you. So
Yeah,
Aaron Wilkin got less points for winning this week than T35 spot on PGA Tour. At OWGR Limited,
yeah.
winners on any tour deserve more than that. World ranking in golf right
Yeah, I
now is
saw
a bit of a
that.
joke and means nothing unless you've already made it to the top. So two things here. I love Gaily just getting on the front foot and letting everybody know his opinion.
Yeah. No fucks given. Yeah,
The second thing I love is he's tagged OWGR just to let him know, but he hasn't tagged you. So
Yeah, I know.
he's just written your name out in full, even though you're a prolific Twitter user. But he's
That's all right.
got
That's all
right
right.
up OWGR's ass just to let him know how he feels about the world ranking points.
Have they replied?
There's been
No.
12 replies. Not one of them has been OWGR. Clates has got up in there in the replies, that would be a fascinating conversation. We fly on the wall between a conversation between Mike Clayton and Daniel Gale.
Agreeing with Gaily or not?
It seems to be.
What's
Yes.
are you actually
I
on
mean, I
Twitter,
don't-
Wilco?
I mean, I don't know enough about all that shit to even like comment. So
Yeah,
I would
there's-
imagine tied 35th on PGA Tour is still pretty good, eh?
I
There's
would
more
suggest-
people. There's more people ranked. There's sure obviously way more better players world ranked in that field.
I think, look, to be fair, not to get down in the weeds, but there's been a lot of OWGR talk this week because the winner of the RSM on the PGA Tour actually got more points than John Rahm did for winning the European Tour event, despite the fact there was like 7 top 20 players in the world on the European Tour event. But
Yeah, so
but because it was a limited field event and because it's a change in the OWGR, it's messy. But Gailey's weighed in on your behalf, so
Yeah,
that's
good on him.
good
Thanks, Gaily.
good for
Yeah,
him and good for you.
Yeah. Well done.
What was the story you were going to tell about Gailey on Twitter?
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
No, that was it. I was like, I what you read out, I'd read, but I just didn't look at anything else.
Didn't register the fact that he hadn't tagged you. It just tagged OWGR.
Oh no, I did register that. I thought it was a bit weird, but I was like, whatever.
That's pretty standard Gailey, to be fair.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
all
standard
good.
Gailey.
Probably time for you to
Um,
defend yourself,
God love
Kane.
him. God love him.
Oh, look, I don't necessarily feel a need to defend myself. I think it's all perfectly reasonable. I think what I would say is I got out late. I probably didn't necessarily have the time on course I would have liked. That's what happens when you have 2 kids under the age of 4 on a Sunday. But I got out there.
It was your choice, mate.
Look, what I'll say is I got out there. I happened to walk in as was teeing off on 10, and I stuck with him, and he birdied the first 3 holes of the back 9. So far be it from me to walk away from that. He clearly went on a bit of a run in my presence, and he is. We love you here, you know that, but he is our day one. He's been
that's
the
all right.
guy that's been on the journey, and I just felt like what I will say is this: he gave me a couple of opportunities. He was dropping shots on par 5s, and I was like, mate, you can't be doing that and winning tournaments. So he gave me a couple of opportunities, and as I was looking back over my shoulder, I see the big white spams. Spams, are you listening? Come on board. We're open for a conversation. The big white spams.
Well, you got
around
to
sort of
get
thing.
the color. You got to get the color right. They were grey, but anyway.
Were they grey? Well, I thought they were just white with sweat. The big red shirt, the big red hair. I saw it coming. He just, then he reeled me back in with the birdie on 17, and then obviously he shut me
where'd
down
you
on
go?
18. And I went home, as it turns out, because I kind of figured young Barker would get the job done. So that's
So just to summarise here, Wilco, Marshy
Fucking
would rather
wanker.
Marshy would rather go home. Marshy would rather go home
And watch a playoff with his
watch a
two.
playoff with two good friends. Yeah. And
That's right,
I
I
mate.
did watch it.
I had a couple of good mates to come followed me, but then they were like, when I finished, they're like, good luck if you're in the playoff. We're going.
Oh, really?
A few of them had a big night before, so they done well to be there. And then I was in the playoff and I won. They were kicking themselves, but a few stayed around.
Brilliant. Let me ask you a question about a man who I think potentially on balance has almost received as much praise for the victory as you have. And that is one Joey Crunkhorn.
Yep.
The man on the bag.
The myth. No, not the myth. He's not the myth at all. The legend.
Tell me about Joey and that relationship, because obviously I think based on not only your words post, but as I said, a lot of people getting all up in him as well and congratulating him is clearly an important and a special relationship you have.
Yeah, he was like saying that to me today. He's like, oh, my phone's going crazy. His phone goes crazy as it is. He's pretty busy with work and stuff. But I just met him through Brisbane Golf Club. He was in the middle of changing businesses and was literally just playing golf every day. I was like, fuck, what's this guy do? He's at the fucking golf course every day. Like, he's 5 years older than me, but like he's fucking hell, like good setup. But he was just in transition of a new business, and then we just got on really well and we played, and then I had like some tournaments coming up and he was like, oh, I'll caddy. I was like, yeah, okay. And then he come and like we just got on really well. Like within knowing him for a few months, he was like, he'd driven down to like caddy for me in New South Wales and was like staying in the room together and just like chatting. And I was like, fucking hell, this is like moving pretty fast. And then he's just been a massive support for me. I even lived with him for a bit there a couple of years ago. When I was sort of going through a few things myself, and he just put me up and just said, mate, like doors are open, like you're here, welcome any time. And yeah, he's just like he gives up heaps of his time for me, and like I think he generally likes it too because it gets him away from his work, which is pretty busy. But so he's caddying this week as well, and he's going to come over and caddy for me for Asian Q School in Thailand in January, which should be good. But like he's been on the bag, for a fair few events now, and like it seems that every time he caddies, it's like the results. It was the first win, but like I've had some pretty solid results with him. Like I don't really seem to miss many cuts with him. I've thought he's always makes these like every time I caddy for him on the weekend, I was like, yeah, it's good. He's like, I'm a 4-day caddy. But he's talking to me today. He's like, he was talking a big game actually. He wants a tour bag for the week, and I was like, mate, like we'll just go, we'll just chill with the the stand bag. He's like, mate, like I feel like I'm letting you down a bit. Like I don't want you to feel like you have to do the stand bag. It's like like we had a win last week. We can do the tour bag this week if you want. I was like, I'll think about it.
Yeah, let's not overextend him. He's found a niche there with the stand bag. He's found his strength.
Yeah, but no, he's not just a caddy. Like he's a really good mate, and like he's quite successful in his business and like sort of life as such. And I sort of go to him for advice, and he's a great sounding board. Like if they've got a I'm the same with him, but if there's ever a problem, feel like he doesn't even talk sometimes. I'm just literally just rattling off my problems, and he just goes, oh, well, yep. And then it's like, I'll talk to you later. Oh, that felt better.
The other one I want to ask you about is your brother. Obviously, he wasn't able to be there, but from what I saw, he's rubbing shoulders with all his famous friends down. Is it the Spring Valley Golf Club where he's a member with Pappenhausen there? I saw on the Instagram. He's watching the putt go in. So how quickly after the win was he on the FaceTime? Were we celebrating together?
He texted me, which was good. He's hopeless on the phone. He's fucking hopeless, actually. So, yeah, you got to win to get a text out of him. But no, I think he was
haven't heard
proud.
from him in 6 months, but we were in a tournament.
Yeah. No, I think he would have been pretty proud. He's been there too for a fair bit of he's caddied for me in Australian Open before and a few events. Like he caddied for me at European Q School where I missed by, I was just cruising. Like I don't normally play well at Rosebud, and I was cruising around and just had him on the bag. And I was, getting through the rounds, and out of nowhere just finished 3 bogeys in the last 3 holes and missed by 2. And he saw that and he just thought, fuck, that's so brutal. And so I think he sort of feels it. He feels it like the pain as much as me sometimes when you're going bad. But yeah, I'm sure he was pretty happy. He plays more golf than me, seriously. He played last week when I was down in Victoria for Moona. He went down there with Welshie and my other good mate Sam Daly. He's just moved down to Melbourne, and him and Brad and Welshie just play golf all the time. They played Friday at St Andrews Beach, and then Saturday morning they played Rosebud, and then Sunday they played Dunes.
While you were playing, didn't want to come out and support his brother?
They caddied they come watch for 9 holes on Saturday, and that was it. I was like, "Who's caddying for me on Sunday?" And they're like, "Sorry, mate. Like, we've got to tee off. Like,
we got tea time.
Then
Sorry,
we
mate.
got to rest up. We got training on Monday." I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah, sweet."
It's been good to see you, boys. That's fantastic.
He had 44 points at Rosebud on Saturday off 12.
Oh, Jesus, that's handy.
Best 70. He had 4 over. Yeah.
Sounds a little sharky. Sounds like maybe 12 is a little generous.
No, he hasn't got much better than that. That's like his best round. Like, it's still pretty good. Like, he'd almost beat me at Rosebud.
44.
Unreal.
Jesus.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a drama with one of the boys not giving him a drop from a suspected GUR space or spot that wasn't marked.
Ooh.
And he had a double on that hole.
Ooh.
Bit of drama. Okay.
Controversial.
Controversy. Just finally, just a flash forward to this week, I suppose. Obviously a big week on the calendar. One of the 2 flagship tournaments. Go back to RQ. What I want to ask you, you are a student of the game, and I know that because of the wonderful Tiger Woods retro shirt you wore the very first time we spoke to you.
I'm not a student of the game.
Well, just run with it.
You don't know me well enough. I have no fucking idea.
Just run with it. I suspected as much. I was just trying to pump your tires up.
You're the Jonah Takalua of golf.
Yeah,
the Tiger retro. Yeah.
Is there any concern? Because the phenomena of back-to-back consecutive week wins is rare in golf. Is there any concern we peaked a week early, or are we exactly where we want to be going into the PGA?
No, I don't think so. Like, I said that to Joey today. I said last week was obviously really good, but like you always have this like thought like, oh, like when I win, I'm going to fucking hole everything, and like it's going to be so good, and like it'll just be so easy. Last week wasn't really that. Like there was heaps of times in the tournament where I thought, oh fuck, like I'm done. Like, you can't afford to do that. You can't miss that. Like, you can't be 2 over through 5, and then like you're not making enough birdies. Like, surely someone's going to go low. Even in the last round, I missed 2 short par putts where like they're momentum killers, and I was like, oh, can't afford that. Do you know what I mean? Not 2 short par putt. I missed a short birdie putt and then a short par putt. So I was like, I didn't really feel like I had I hold everything. I chipped in, I didn't do any of that. I hold out. I just felt like I played really steady, and mentally I didn't get too far ahead, but I didn't get, I still got a little bit angry at certain times, but that's what Joey's for. He just said, just talk to me. Like, we'll just let it out and then we'll just go next shot. So, no, I don't think I've peaked too early. Like, I feel like, obviously there's a lot of good players this week, but, a few of them are coming off big years in Europe, and a couple of other boys maybe not have played for a couple of weeks. So, yeah, we'll see.
Is there a bit of a different, I'm conscious, I know like, the week's still ahead of you, right? But even just going into it, is there a different vibe this year in the sense that you mentioned those names, right? Smithy's back. It's been a big year, an enormous year for him. Scotty's here, Leash is here, Min Woo and Lucas Herbert are back. Ryan Fox is here, who I think, can I be honest, obviously apart from yourself, is obviously going to win the tournament because you're speaking with us now. But
it's all right, mate. You don't have to suck up to me now.
Outside of you, I think that he is being criminally underrated. Ryan Fox. I think he should be the red hot favourite for this week, to be honest, the way he's played. So it just feels different. It's a big tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. Like that. Have you seen the footage of that party hole? I should send you through a video. We had a little caddy player challenge today, and Joey fucking stitched me up. I had to carry the clubs for the hole because I lost them. It's going to be pumping. Like, there was one marquee at the back last year, and then a couple of small ones on the side. Like this year, there's like 2 massive ones. There's a marquee, like a tunnel you walk under for the tee box, and then like a marquee behind.
Well, was that the same hole that I think it was Blake Windred last year threw his ball into the marquee, and someone literally went Jezelenko to grab the ball and just went fucking bang straight into the table.
There was I think that was one, and the other one, Mika threw a ball, and the guy like fell, like the whole the railing like gave way, and he fell into the bunker. Yeah, they haven't. That was.
Well, they're serving. They're serving from gates open.
They seem pretty sturdy. I don't think that's going to happen this year.
They're serving from gates open at that hole. Like it is. I remember being out there on Saturday last year and walking with Jed when Jed walked up to that hole, and he was, I think, not as comfortably in the lead as what he was, but he was leading at that stage, and he's obviously an RQ member.
Yeah,
but he was early off the tee. This would have been 11:30, and they went bananas.
Yeah, well, it opens at 11. It opens at 11. I got a few close mates coming to watch me on Friday, and they're in the marquee, and they're getting there at like 10. But they're like, yeah, I'm off 10 at 11 o'clock on Friday, so I'll go past them about 1, and like they'll be blind by 1.
Who have you got?
And there's 5 out.
Who have you got for the first year round?
I got Brett Rumford and Brett Clutter.
Okay. So you obviously be putting on a bit of a chipping clinic for Rumford then. You'll be showing him how it's done.
Yeah, give him a few pointers.
And who have you jagged in the Pro-Am tomorrow?
No Pro-Am. How good?
No Pro-Am?
Yeah.
Sorry?
No Pro-Am. It's unreal. Yeah.
I thought they would have been rolling out their latest winner.
I just said, mate, I said, I'm too fucking tired for a Pro-Am. And they just said, no worries. No, I'm joking. But I'm not playing. They must have allocated all the Pro-Am stuff before, obviously, they did last week. So they were already out. So
that'd be too many AMs. Not enough pros.
Got tomorrow off. I'm happy about that.
That's
I did a full day today, so I'm keen just to go there tomorrow and get the speed of the greens. And I didn't really do much of that stuff on the course today because I knew the greens going to be faster by the time they cut them and roll them tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm happy about no Pro-Am.
Wise. I think that'll probably do us. I've exhausted my allocation, and I feel positively on the defense about the strength of my relationship with the Queensland PGA champion. So,
what do you mean? Is there a time limit on this thing?
No. We could go for days.
We need to let you go to bed. Hold on. I mean, I'm conscious we gave you a full night's sleep last night, but you do have a tournament to prepare for in a couple of days' time.
No, I'm all good. I'm fresh as a daisy today.
What I will say is, obviously, I think when we spoke, probably would have been 6 or 8 months ago now, it definitely felt like you were heading in the right direction. It kind of felt like a bit of a fork in the road. You made a decision to go about things a little differently, and whether or not you expected it to come this soon, mate, it's awesome to see it holding up a trophy at the end of a week. So it was a pleasure to see that happen, and we hope to see many more. If not this weekend, then at least a couple more times this summer.
Yeah, no reason why I can't, I guess, as they say.
And on that positively understated note, we'll bring it to a close. Good on you, Wilco.
Cheers, boys.